Hello captains, welcome back to another video. Today we are in Italy at the LIMJ airport, Lima Indigo Mike J. Jeep. No, not Jeep. Ah, J's a Jennifer. I don't know. The Genoa X scenery add-on in the second half of this video will be applied from Aerosoft. But I just wanted to have a look at what it looks like before we installed it. The only thing we see at the moment is my plane from GeForce. The runway textures are from Rex, the Airport HD add-on. And as I spin around, we've got some Terraflora trees here, some Orbex trees, FS Global sorting out the hillsides there, looking very nice. Orbex Global Base is sorting out the textures on them, which already there I can see they're a bit skewish. Buildings are prepared 3D, P3D, sorry. And it looks pretty nice. It looks okay. We have got Active Sky and Rex Skyforce handling the weather, and we've got our PTA shaders in force. That looks very nice. That looks very realistic, but you know, it's the tiling. It's sometimes it just doesn't look right, like that little spot there. So anyway, let's head into our plane. Frame rates are sort of jumpy between 50 to 60. And now they're kind of jumpy between 30 and 60, staying towards the 50 end. But let's take this sucker to the air and let's see what we can see. The Italy island, or the Italian place that we're in at the moment, is just off the sort of top end of Italy. It's not sort of exactly in the center, or like by Rome or anything like that. Whoa, what's happened here? It's towards, it's not anywhere near the boot, it's near the top end where the leg, I guess, would be. So let's get airborne. Flaps off. Take this sucker to the air. So Orbex is handling what the textures look like beyond the airport. The airport textures are all being handled by Rex Airport HD. Rex is also handling our water textures for the water here, the Texture Direct add-on that I have. So as you can see, you know, where airport, the Rex Airport, you know, where this grass ends, and then Orbex Global Base picks it up here, is very just unrealistic and jarring. It's not looking good, to be honest. Over here, coastline, that looks very nice. That's basically Orbex Vector, making sure the coastlines look nice. But again, it just doesn't really then fit in. You got that little grass section that looks kind of and the trees and this sort of mesh down here, this tiling down here where the trees are, is kind of like that default almost Orbex look, which, you know, from a high altitude looks very nice, but when you're flying up at sort of where we are at 1400 feet, it can look very weird. Just off here we see some apartments, some hotel complexes, some road systems that look very weird indeed. It just kind of like melts into the water here. Not realistic at all, I would say, and a massive crack, like an earthquake crack right there. I don't know if that's realistic or not. I don't know if we're going to be able to head up towards the mountains here to try and get some altitude. We'll probably just bite it and land and crash in the mountain if we try, but I think we can at least go up this way and see what it looks like from 2,000 feet. That's kind of been the default that we do for these videos. So, you know, if you're watching this video for the first time, why am I showing you this? You've probably got Orbex Global Base and Orbex Global Vector installed. You kind of know what all this looks like, you know. Why would you show me this? Well, I recently, about a month ago, my sim just crashed on me basically, and I had to reinstall everything. And one thing I found as I slowly did was that my frames were superb at the beginning when I was sort of recently installing stuff, and my frames now are 50 to 60 frames per second. We're getting some good frames, but then as I started to install stuff, you know, certain locations, certain areas of the world were worse than others for frames, especially when I added in scenery like cities and regions and then a city. My frames really did drop, and I got big stuttering, and I tried various different things. Now, one thing I did try as well is getting the task manager and upping the priority of the CPU power to prepared, and putting that at high, and then putting my recording software at above normal. Now, I got a lot of stutters with that. In the last few videos, you can see micro stutters and the software stuttering. So I took prepared, at least, and put it back to normal. And it seems a bit smoother now. I don't know if this is because of the area we're flying in, but to be honest, there are a lot of trees, but there's not a lot of buildings. So maybe it's the autogen buildings that cause the stutters. I don't know. But, oh gosh, look at that texturing down there. See, this is the thing with Orbex Global Base. The textures look really nice, but because there's no land class for this area, you know, oh, actually there is. I have got land class Europe installed, so this actually should look pretty decent. I mean, I gotta admit, it's okay. It did look better when we were on the ground, and I'm sure higher it will look okay, but it just looks here, like here, it just sticks out, like it hasn't put the right texture in at the right time. So, but look at these peaks and troughs, these mountains, they look fantastic. And I'm sure that this is FS Global showing us what it can do. It could even be Orbex's mesh that it has showing us what it can do. Either way, I think it looks great. We are well above 2,000 feet, but we need to get over this ridge here because the land below us is not 2,000 feet. We're just 2,000 feet above sea level. We need to actually get 2,000. Once we get over this mountain here, I think down here in this little valley will kind of show us a little bit of what we want to see. We'll probably land it on that mountain there if you had to. So yeah, down here in the valleys, looking a little bit better. You know, see, like these fields here, they look fine, they look nice. So yeah, I mean, overall it's very good. This is what I found with Orbex before I've installed the scenery, is that the frames are really smooth. The scenery is just okay looking. It's not photoreal and it's not accurate, but it's nice looking. Everything works together very well, and it just looks appealing, you know. And I think that's what divides the flight sim community in half, is that half of it want photoreal so they can actually do some VFR flying, which photoreal in the past has not been that great. It's only just recently now becoming really good and really photoreal. And then the other half just want it to look beautiful, and they want to make videos that aren't necessarily accurate but look fantastic. For me, I fall in I want it photoreal because I want a VFR fly because I'm training, and so I need it accurate down below, otherwise you're just going to get lost. So like off into the distance here, I think that looks photoreal as heck. I think that looks absolutely gorgeous, you know. That field down there looks very nice and photoreal, but it's just here and here down beside the aircraft, and that mountain over here looks like it's got a disease, to be honest. It just doesn't, it just kind of lets it down. So this is the area in which we will fly in the second half of this video. I am going to pause the video here. I'm going to go away and I'm going to install the Genoa X from Aerosoft. I think it's Aerosoft, and we will come back in the second half of this video and see what it looks like. So I'll see you in a bit, guys. Hello captains, welcome back to the second half of this video. So we are in Italy, we are in Geneva, and I have gone away and installed Genoa X, We are at the Seastia airport, or Seastia airport. Now I've got a bit of a confession to make, and I didn't realize this until I'd gone to install it. I'm running P3D version 4.3 now. Now this scenery is the version 3 for P3D version of the software. So, but most like most of P3D version 3 softwares that you get, it is compatible with version 4. So I went ahead and installed it anyway. I have gone and bought the proper for version 4, but I just wanted to make a quick vid to see what this looked like as version 3, and it looks quite good. You know, runways look nice. You know, the airport over there is where it should be. Everything is looking okay. We're going to do a quick flight, and I'm just going to fly over, and I can already see that there's a difference in the terrain here. Everything else isn't like majorly different. The airport is. I can definitely see more sort of things dotted around there, but other than that, it's not really different. There was a couple of tweaks I had to do. I had to reinstall PTA completely when I installed this one. I think, you know, because this is for version 3, it's not 100% compatible, but it still is compatible. I mean, it's still loading in fine. The harbor there, the airport there, but they're all going to be different quality textures, and there's probably not going to take advantages of some of the scenery that version, the one that's built for version 4 is, and there'll probably be better performance with the version 4 one anyway. See, these are kind of low resolution textures here. Low resolution textures for the boats. Everything's kind of low resolution, but it does look quite nice. I've got no issues really, no qualms about it. You know, everything's where it should be. You know, it does look okay. It's just obviously this is for the wrong version. I didn't realize that until I actually gone to install it. So I mean, I must obviously I think I bought it for when I had FSX Steam Edition, and I was using it for that, and I you know, kept it thinking I still could use it. But I had P3D version 4, and I loaded it in last time before my sim went all haywire, and enjoyed many flights around this region, and it loaded in just like it has now, so it does work. But there is a better and more current version, which now that I've bought it, we're going to pause the video here now. I'm going to go away, I'm going to uninstall this scenery and reinstall the version 4 version of this scenery, and we'll see the difference. Okay, so I'll see you in a mo, bro. Take care. Hello, welcome back to the third and final part of this video. So I've gone away. I've installed the updated version of Genoa X for P3D version 4. I've also made a couple of amendments to my settings. I've noticed that when I turned my TV on, the monitor here you can see, it actually said 30 frames per second when the computer wasn't even turned on. I had it set to 60 Hertz before. So I've gone back to my computer now, and I've changed the display adapter to match that frequency. So, well, not frequency, sorry, to match that number. So my display card now is matched to 30 Hertz, the same as my monitor. I've also gone into my options here. I have set my frame rate target to unlimited and turn VSync on with triple buffering before I put it right down to 30 to target the frame rate of that. But we're going to do a little experiment now. I'm going to do it unlimited, and then I'm also going to do it the other way around and see if there's a difference in the stuttering. Now looking around here, things look pretty much the same. There's a slight, I can tell the detail is better on these buildings here. There's like shadowing and sort of dirty textures. They don't just look like plain models. In fact, that building I don't even think was in version 3. I think all the textures basically just look more like brand new, as opposed to what they were before. And we're going to see if it affects our frame rate. So let's take off into the air. And we did do fly out over the mountain. And when we were doing it in the first part of this video with Orbex handling the scenery, everything was pretty smooth. We did have our frames capped at 60 though, but it was pretty smooth. Then when I introduced Genoa, slight stutters started to occur, but so far we haven't had any. Oops, bit of a bump there. Okay, so into the air we go. Looking at the airport, I can tell, yes, there's still the sort of traffic of the buses and stuff like that, but the runway or the gateway and the terminal textures look a lot more better, more sharp, more clearer, like more high definition, I'd say. These land textures here haven't really changed one bit, I'd say. Not much of a difference there. These textures have changed, better integrated in with the land. If you go back to where Orbex was handling it, it was just very ugly, but now it's a lot better. Let's see. We went over this way, didn't we? Looking at the terrain doesn't look like it's changed much. The textures, in fact, to be honest, there doesn't look like there has been much of an update in terms of the textures. It says on its website that it uses photoreal down to 0.5 centimeters or 5 centimeters per pixel of the photoreal texturing, and the mesh I believe is down at 1 meter. I might be slightly wrong on that. But it's so far, I mean, it's still so very smooth actually. There's been no stuttering at all, it seems, and just looking around here, it is back to its sort of being smooth. A slight wobble there when I do that with the screen, but that's fine. Frames aren't leaping about huge amounts. We're still getting sort of nicely sort of steady, smooth frames. So yeah, we're going to climb up to 2000 and then we're going to have a look out the window. I think the majority of the scenery is this part down here. This is where the majority of it all lays, and that does look really nice. That looks really cool. There was one thing that I suddenly occurred where in my past videos, when I change camera, you know, you see textures popping in on models. You'd see like black models, and then them textures would pop in. And there was one little thing that occurred to me that it could be, you know, is if you've got your graphics slider for your auto gen sort of draw distance, if you've got it set to maximum, then everything is loaded into the sim. Everything is loaded into the memory, and you don't have to then sort of come across that load, if you know what I mean. Let's fly up here. I believe this is where we went before. Oh, bit of an extreme turn there. So we are at 2,000 feet, and the terrain texturing here is very nice. That's photoreal there. But there are some other ones that don't look as nicely photoreal. And I think there's still a lot of Orbex floating around here. As I say, I think that scenery is, majority of it is down here. In fact, there, them hills there seem to be more photoreal, and these ones are, than this. I don't think the Genoa scenery stretches out as far as these hills. I think it's more limited to this area down here. So we're going to have a little flyover at 2,000 feet, and let's see if it looks quite nice from the distance. We did have quite a few boats around here. They seem to have calmed them down. I haven't touched my sliders or anything like that. I haven't unticked anything in the config manager. We've still got a couple of boats off. It looks more like a shipping yard now, by the looks of it. But 2,000 feet, these textures you can see now here is where the Aerosoft textures are coming in on the ground and taking over from Orbex. In fact, there's the line there, because these textures down here look a little bit more photoreal than these textures over here. These kind of look cartoony almost. They're very high in color. I mean, they're very nice, they're very good, but you can just tell that these are photoreal. But they don't look as high defined as these ones, unfortunately. They look very like low resolution almost. So that's a bit of a thinker. In fact, all of this underneath here. Oh yeah, wasn't there a weird place here? This spot here before in version 3, or no, in the Orbex version, was just like a load of roads going into the water. It looks much better now. It's purely, you can see everything much better. Buildings and everything. Yes, it is a real good upgrade, I'd say. Let's just drop down to the airport, which is here. Lovely sort of scenery. Oh, we're going way too fast now. We almost oversped that plane then. Should really do it in circles like that, so we don't lose too much. Yeah, very nice areas here. You can see the town of Geneva looking very nice. Bridges, very nice. Overall, a great add-on, I'd say. I don't know if I'd fly here too often. It's certainly an improvement over the version 3 that I had. Things are more high definition. Performance-wise, I mean, it's sticking around 30 basically, because I've got VSync on. If I turned off VSync, okay, that would spike way above 30, and give us a sort of an idea of the performance. I mean, we've got small stutters now, but we're getting about, I'd say, 40 frames in this area on average, because it's going up as high as 55 and as low as 30, so I'd say about 45 is a good average. But because I want to lock or sync my monitor and the sim together, so it's a smoother performance, then I click that in, and then that will stick around 30. It's on unlimited, so it can go higher, but it'll aim for 30, and then the rest of the computing power goes on the scenery. So that's the secret for my sim, and I think it's quite different. It really depends on your monitor you're using. If I set my refresh rate of my monitor to 60, you know, could my sim push 60 frames out very smoothly? Well, at the moment it can't, with all the add-ons I've got. It could before, though. When I was first starting, it could do like over 100, but now we've added a lot of landmass, a lot of mesh, and regional additions, which means it's a no-no. So we should have the airport in sight somewhere around here for a landing, I reckon. So let's see if we can land this puppy at the airport, which should be right here. We're over the runway. Okay, well, let's just pretend the runway is something different, and let's do one of our kamikaze landings. In the next video, we will be descending down to La Palma in the Canary Islands. I think it's in the that's the one in the Canary Islands. I might be mistaken. La Palma might be somewhere else, but it'll be La Palma again from Aerosoft, and we will see what it looks like before and after in the same video. Full flaps now. This is definitely going to be a fun landing. We're going to go straight into a container. So, bit of a long landing. Okay, everybody, take care and keep it flying. I shall see you in the next video.